time for the Straight Up Wrestling Show.
What's up, everybody? Oh, man, I do that. I don't know why in the world I do that all the time now. What's up, everybody? It's HBT with the Straight Up Wrestling Show. Now, every time I come on, man, it's like, boom, I don't know. I get too excited. My tongue gets twisted or something like that. And I just get caught up now when I do that, come on and right before I say, hey, what's up, everybody? It's HBT with Straight Up Wrestling Show. But, guys, I'm here live, man, and, I'm going to have a few things to say. All actuality, I was supposed to be out cutting some grass. I did that earlier today, all out in the hot sun, pretty much beating down on my brow. I've been doing that for the last couple of days. But, right now, can't do it because we got thunderstorms going on and everything. So it started raining, and if it calms down, I'm going to go ahead and finish that little bit I have to do. And I will go out and I will probably do some weeding, but I don't like doing that because, the rain will dull your blade if you continue to do stuff like that. But it's just a small bit to cut. So I'll be doing that. And tomorrow I'll just go ahead and continue on cutting grass, man. But hey, guys, just wanted to come on and pretty much talk about wrestling and talk about the state of wrestling today as far as wrestling fans. And basically, I want to talk about wrestling fans. I was watching a couple podcasters earlier today, and some people was talking about how they're done with certain things in wrestling. I was listening to this guy, man. I like listening to him sometimes, but he tries not to be negative, but he pretty much came out and was talking about last night's show. He's talking about AEW, talking about how he's over it and everything like that. He's basically talking about their fans. He's talking about the fans, and he pointed out some things about the fans of AEW. He talked about how these fans just go flat out crazy if you say something about their favorite wrestler, and that's one thing that I've noticed since I started watching wrestling again, since Chris Burton and myself. Christopher Burton, myself, started the Straight Up Wrestling Show. And, of course, like I said, we had another partner who was rolling with us at the beginning. We've been doing this thing for 2 years now. We just now hit our 2-year anniversary. And, man, we're rolling along pretty well, I have to say. But one thing I have noticed about today's wrestling fan compared to yesterday's wrestling fan, and basically I'm going back to the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, the fans, there is a difference between the way the fans acted back then and the way fans act now. Now, man, I see, and I have encountered fans. I've encountered other podcasters that, man, if you say something about a certain wrestler, these people don't want to be your friends no more. Hey, they can't stand you or whatever, or you're a piece of crap. You cannot have a disagreement now with fans or, hey, man, I'm done with you. I'm done with you, or whatever. Or you can't say anything bad about a product that they're following, or they ticked off about you. I mean, they ticked off at you. So a lot of things just don't make sense, man. And it's flat out crazy. Back when I was coming up, you could have disagreements. Hey, I was a huge Ricky Steamboat fan and a huge Ric Flair fan. You could tell me why you couldn't stand Ric Flair. You could tell me why you couldn't stand Ricky Steamboat. Let's see, who else that I really liked a lot? I used to like Angelo Moscow. I used to like Rick Steiner. I used to like Steiner brothers a lot. Rick Steiner and Scott Steiner. Let's see, who else? I used to like Brad Armstrong. But I can have disagreements. There could be people, there'll be people tell me, oh, Brad Armstrong sucked. Oh, Ric Flair sucked. Man, I can't stand him. He does the same thing over and over. There was people that would tell me, hey, Bret Hart is better. They would tell me, Bob Backlund is better. Or Dusty Rhodes is better than Ric Flair. They hated him and say he cheats all the time and did, which he didn't. He cheats all the time, used the Four Horsemen all the time, which he did not use the Four Horsemen all the time. But, man, I didn't take offense to that. I didn't take offense to that. I was a fan of theirs. And I was a fan of Ric Flair. And, a lot of those fans that I used to get into it with, we go tip for tat and they would be big fans of Magnum TA, or big fans of Dusty Rhodes, or big fans of Sting or Nikita Koloff, Harley Race or somebody. They was wanting to see Flair get taken down, and they would say these guys are better wrestlers than Flair. I didn't get mad at them. Hey, man, it's still friends with them and glad to talk to them about wrestling, man. Loved it. Loved every single minute of it. Hey, if they was upset because if they was, I would say something about Tony Atlas and talk about how strong he was and how great he was. And, they say something derogatory about Tony Atlas. They didn't like him and wonder why I liked him. Hey, that did not make me hate that person. That did not make me stop talking to that other wrestling fan. Hey, man, I appreciate that you like Billy Jack Haynes. You like Lex Luger. I appreciated that 100%. I appreciated that you like the Nasty Boys, even though I could not see anything in them. I hated them, but hey, I appreciated people that like the Nasty Boys, and, myself liking, the Lightning Express, Tim Horner and Brad Armstrong, but you thinking my team sucked. I used to like Mike Rotundo, but there's people out here who couldn't stand Mike Rotundo, this before he became IRS or whatever. But yeah, I love the guy, man. When he was Michael Wall Street, Mike Rotundo, and then went to Michael Wall Street. Love the guy. I used to love Kevin Sullivan. Love Kevin Sullivan till he did the little devil routine thing. Really didn't care for him too much, but hey, I still was a big fan of him because I was a big fan of him from the get-go when I first saw him. And there was a lot of people couldn't stand him. They were like, "Why in the world do you like him?" But man, I never remember getting into an argument with other wrestling fans, and there was a lot more than what you see today. There's a lot more fans, but there was a lot more fans back then that you see today. You go to if you at work, say you at work, and that's 12 people around, man, about 8 of them watch wrestling. 8, 9 of them will watch wrestling or knew a good bit about wrestling or watched it enough to be a fan to know who the main wrestlers were, the main characters in there. And they will tell you if they like that person or not. So you got to talk to a lot of wrestling fans. Same thing in school. At least, I went to Hillcrest High School. We had like 1,400 students, 1,400 students, my last couple years there. And more than half the school watched wrestling or knew about wrestling. So you had a numerous amount of people that you could talk to. You could talk to the teachers back then about wrestling, what's going on in wrestling. Man, we would have discussions in class. Some of the teachers will talk about wrestling and what happened on wrestling that Saturday or something like that, or what happened Monday night at the local Greenville Auditorium. Some of the teachers will talk about that, and we have a class discussion, and people will talk about who their favorite wrestlers were. We all talk about, and yeah, back and forth, we would talk, oh, for real, you like this person? You like that person? And of course we would say that, but I don't remember anybody getting so upset that, hey, they cannot stand the next person, or they just stop talking to them because of a certain wrestler, because they don't like their wrestler, or they said something derogatory about, their wrestler is no good or whatever. I like my wrestler is the better wrestler. And see, back then it didn't matter who it was. You could be, you could be one of these guys, man, that was pretty much a jobber. You could be somebody that really wasn't that good. You could be Rocky King. You could be the Brooklyn Brawler. You could be Italian Stallion, George Scott, Mike Jackson, people that lost time and time again, and they had their favorites. People, people will come up and people will say, "Oh, Abe Jacobs is my favorite wrestler. Iron Mike Sharp is my favorite wrestler." And these guys, man, they lost every single week. But you had fans that loved those guys, man. The Monkey Brothers, my favorite wrestlers. You had, those people had their fans. They had their fans, but you had people like me, man, who love the big guys. Like I said, love Nature Boy Ric Flair, love Ricky Steamboat and people like that. Jay Youngblood. Let's see, number 1 Paul Jones. Love him. Still love Paul Jones when he was a bad guy and everybody couldn't stand him. Loved him. But hey, I didn't have all this crazy feedback, man, where people act like, hey, you the worst person on earth if you liking these people, you don't like their wrestler. And I think this is where we come into a lot of problems that we see today. We have a lot of problems as far as wrestling right now, because you have people out here that won't watch WWE anymore because they hate Vince McMahon, just literally hate Vince McMahon. And look, Vince McMahon, I blame Vince McMahon. I blamed him for a lot of different things. And one thing, I did blame him. I blamed him for ruining wrestling. But the ultimate fail of wrestling is, as far as wrestling being ruined, I put it on somebody else. There's another promoter out there that was running the second biggest company, and at one time was the biggest company. I put it on somebody else, and there might be some people out here don't like it, but hey, I put it on Eric Bischoff. I think he came and ruined the best wrestling company that was out there. I'm talking about a wrestling company that made it look real, pure wrestling. I blame that on Eric Bischoff. And I know there's a couple people out there that don't like me saying that. And one of them was our partner who used to run with us on the Straight Up Wrestling Show. I don't care if he don't like it. He wanted to go at me and talk about Ric Flair because I said something about Eric Bischoff. Like, that's going to hurt my feelings. And basically, yes, I defended Ric Flair. But, he took it to heart about this Eric Bischoff. And that's one thing I see about these wrestling fans out here, man. They take this stuff to heart. They take it to heart. And that's one. And another thing, too, and I hate to, go as far as some of the indie wrestling promoters, indie wrestling promoters. If you try to get into the business and you're going to run your own show or do something like that, these guys take it to heart because you never put on the trunks or whatever. When did you wrestle? When did you wrestle or be on a wrestling show or whatever? They take that stuff to heart, man. They take it to heart. It's flat out crazy. It's flat out crazy. Is it really that serious? Is it really that serious? Hey, there's plenty of guys, man. I trained in doing different things when I was, coming up or working in management in different, in different professions. And if they would have told me, hey, man, look, I want to go and start my own business, or somebody, even if a customer came in and looked at the way, my first management job was at Hardee's. I was in my early 20s, I was like 21 years old. Okay. If a customer came in and he liked the way things ran and he looked at everything, never flipped a burger in his life and said, man, I want to start one of these. I want to start my own restaurant or whatever. Who am I to tell him he can't start a restaurant? Man, what is your experience? Have you ever ran a cash register in a restaurant? Have you ever flipped a burger in a restaurant? Man, you don't know what in the world you're doing. And I'm just pissed off about it. But that's the attitude that we have with wrestlers and some promoters on the indie scene today. Like they can get out here and run it. They act like they running doggone shows that's drawing 500 people. It's not happening. It's not happening. So it's just flat out crazy. But the way wrestling fans and people that are involved in wrestling act today, man, it is a sad situation. And guys, for some reason, I am not getting anything as far as my comment section on my section on my phone. So if you on here and you checking this thing out, man, and you saying something, believe me, HBT is not trying to dismiss you or anything. I'm just not getting anything in the comment section, but I will check that in just a moment. But hey, if you on here, man, and you on Facebook, hit that like, share, join. If you're on YouTube, hit that like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, ding, 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 so you know we're on like times like these. Do the same thing on Twitch and on Twitter. Hit that like, share, tweet, retweet, and follow the Straight Up Wrestling Show over there on Twitter, man. But I'm going to go ahead and refresh and see what's going on because I can't see anything in the comment section, guys. So give me just a moment here. Oh, wow. Yeah, see, I got a couple things here, man. And like I said, I wasn't trying to dismiss anybody, just didn't see anything. JL, what's going on? JL says, you are right. Some people cannot be honest, like Bron Breakker is the best heel wrestling has had in years, yet some people are denied to defend their boys. Hey, man, Bron Breakker is great. Bron Breakker is great. And we'll see how all this thing plays out, no doubt. All right. Facebook user says, hello, HBT. Vince McMahon ruined it. Too many green trainees, pushed too hard, too fast. Eric Bischoff is an ass, I know. And I'm not sure who that is, but I will definitely find out. Facebook user. Look, I'm not gonna go to Facebook right now. I'll actually give me just a second. Go to Facebook. I need to find out who that is. Just 1 minute. AJ Scales is in the house. What's up, AJ? What's up, my man? Guys, I am here or anything like that. Let's see. Let me go back. Let me go back and get back on cam. All right. Yeah, like I said, hey, I am nowhere near my other I'm not nowhere near my tablet, nowhere near my laptop. So, I'm just doing this randomly. Yeah, Melanie, now she says it's me, Melanie. But yeah, I appreciate Melanie McKeith being here, my man AJ Scales, my man JL. I definitely appreciate you coming through. And anybody else that comes through, see this channel. I know there's more people. I see there's more people coming through. Definitely, man. Just go ahead and whatever platform you on, go ahead and hit that like, wherever you see the Straight Up Wrestling Show. But guys, man, we need more honesty. And I'm talking about the fans have to be honest. Because if we're honest with ourselves, then we're going to make these wrestling companies stand up and be honest with themselves. Because, what we're seeing here is, as far as the wrestling business, it's been basically catering to the fans. They cater to the fans. And the fans get so upset. They get so upset now if they think their wrestler being misused. Man, they take it to heart. We have fans today who act like they have birthed these wrestlers, that they gave birth to these wrestlers. And man, you're doing something to their child. And that's a sad thing. That is sad. Man, I never heard anybody. I mean, well, I do see that a little bit now too. If you put down LeBron James, you don't like LeBron James, man. You got guys that want to kill you, man. I mean, they act like they want to kill you, for real. I mean, I guess they could say some things, some of the same things about Jordan fans too, because they argue back and forth. But I can see why all that stuff goes down because, man, after a while you get tired of it. You get tired of trying to defend the guy that you saw for so many years and saw how great he was, and then somebody come up there and try to basically undermine that person any way they can and try to say, oh, he played in a weak at a weak time. He was playing against garbage man and things like that. He wasn't that great. When somebody comes and try to take everything away from you and about that person, I can understand you're gonna defend that. And I was one of these people. I defended Jordan up and down. Same thing, man. Ric Flair. Hey, I defended him too, but I got to the point where I stopped defending him, man. And defending anything old school wrestling. Because one thing about it, it wasn't worth it. It's not worth your time when it boils down to it. It's really not worth your time. I'm like, okay, if you don't like this person, you don't like this person. But, have proof. Have you watched them? And if you didn't like them, you didn't like them. But, that's just like today, man. If I don't like a wrestler, I don't like a wrestler. And MJF, with everything, I like him. I think he has a lot of talent. He has immense talent. He's very talented on the mic. And as we saw last night, the guy can sing. And he comes up with some great things over there with AEW. But the guy don't wrestle. The guy hardly ever wrestles. And to me, he's a detriment to that company. So, I started off a huge fan. He was my favorite wrestler 2 years ago when we first started in this company, in AEW, because I saw the potential in him. And Chris got he's got to admit to it. I was the first person that called him out and said, hey, man, this guy got something. But, hey, the guy doesn't wrestle, man. The guy doesn't wrestle. So, I don't like him. And I've said some things to certain people and you're certain podcasters, man, these jokers pissed off. They don't want to talk to me no more. That's cool, too, because it doesn't hurt me. It doesn't hurt me at all. I'm not so caught up in the wrestling where it's going to hurt me if you talk about a wrestler that I like. I think Ethan Page could be one of the greatest wrestlers in the world today. But there's a lot of people, I'm sure, that disagree with me. But hey, it's not gonna burn my tail. It's not gonna I'm not going to lose any sleep over it if you can't, you can't stand this guy. Hey, I don't like CM Punk, but I know a lot of people out there wouldn't like hearing me saying that. And when CM Punk came back, if everybody was all enthralled. They was all up in arms like, oh my gosh, man, this guy's great. This guy's great. And I know Melanie McKeith likes him. She said, he's one of her favorites now. And when he first came back, Chris and Michael King, man, of the Straight Up Wrestling Show, they was goo goo gaga. They was goo goo gaga over this guy when he was coming back. I'm like, what in the world? To me, I never thought he was that great. He's a name, and I think AEW needed him, and they needed him back again the second time. But he never brought anything to the table to me, especially today, the last run that he had. He wasn't nowhere near what he was before. He was 70%. I think he got 70% of where he was before. You got people out there, man, they'll drop. These jokers feel like you trying to kill them. You trying to stab them, man, if you talk about CM Punk. Man, it's kind of ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. All right, it's me, Melanie. But yeah, nobody else said anything else. But guys, I just wanted to get some things out and like I said, you guys might be talking, but my comment section is not picking up anything. StreamYard is not picking this up. I have no clue why it's not doing that. But man, yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and talk about that just for a little while, and before I go back home, and I might be watching a little Collision tonight. I know Collision is not on tonight. And I think Impact is on. I'm not going to watch Impact Wrestling. I got to catch up with this Collision stuff, and I want to get back and talk about Collision. I want to see what's going on with Collision. I know the ratings have dropped off the earth. Now it's below Rampage. That's not good. That's not good at all, guys. That their numbers have dropped below Rampage. So, man, I want to look into that, see what's going on with that. But Tony Khan, he needs to use what he has. He needs to go in to the experienced people, and he needs to sit down and talk with them. I mean, I'm sorry. He's got Tony Khan. I'm not Tony Khan. He has Tony Schiavone there. Sit Tony down and say, man, look, why in the world am I using you as a commentator? I want to use you as help booking, help bringing the right people in, and help producing these shows. I know you used to produce for Jim Crockett Promotions. He produced that thing for a few years, I remember. I know you used to produce that. I know you used to produce for Mid-Atlantic TV. Why don't you come in here and help me run this thing the right way? Go talk to Jim Ross. Jim, you don't need to come on set. Jim, come to the background. Come to the negotiation tables. Let's negotiate. And you and Tony Schiavone can be my right-hand man. You two guys can be my eyes and ears. You two guys can show me how to really run a wrestling company. Why can't Tony Khan do that? AEW, it needs some people that's going to take this thing serious and pretty much going to put this as top priority and run this thing right before it's too late. Because what you have is a lot of big names, veterans that's running around this company, and they collecting a check and scared to say something to Tony about, man, what in the world is this? What in the world is this? A wrestling company is not run like this. But they're not saying anything, man. Not saying anything. It's kind of like, when I was working for Publix, Publix supermarket, man, I worked for Winn-Dixie, Bi-Lo, Publix supermarket, worked in management in a lot of these different places. And a friend of mine with Walmart, this was when Walmart was first getting into the grocery business. He came and asked me, this guy I used to work with at Winn-Dixie, begged me to come over there and take over their grocery side, run the grocery side over on Woodruff Road in Greenville, South Carolina. Huge grocery store. Some people call it the biggest Walmart in the world, but huge grocery store. Huge Walmart. And they asked me to come, and I left my job at Publix, went over there and ran their grocery side. Did it for about 6 or 7 months. And I kept telling them, hey, you guys don't know what you're doing. This is not the way grocery stores are ran. Man, we threw away so much stuff. I never seen it waste like that. And the turnover ratio at Walmart is just flat out crazy. But I told them straight up, man, hey, this is not the way a grocery store ran. And they told me, hey, I said, neither one of you guys. I talked to the other managers there. and the district manager, region manager when I was quitting. Right before I quit, I said, neither one of y'all can tell me that Walmart is making money in the grocery business. Man, the region manager, district manager, they put their heads down. They said 500 super centers that they had open, they was all losing money on the grocery side. But they made it up by selling T-shirts, sneakers, and all those other things, you know, on the other side, the general merchandising, because there's a huge markup on that. And they basically say, hey, we're doing this because we want to get rid of, you know, hey, these grocery stores or other people, you know, they looked at them as competition. You know, Walmart like putting people out of business. Flat out crazy, but they flat out told me. They flat out told me. They didn't really care. They didn't care at all the way you ran it. Didn't care at all. So, you know, I saw it as a problem, and I spoke up about it. I spoke up about it. But wrestling need people to come in. If there's older people that's still going to be in the business, come in and tell people like Tony Khan, hey man, wrestling company is not run like this. You don't run a company like this, a wrestling company. And hey, who are the people out there that's brave enough to do it? And don't get me wrong, just like we say all the time, hey man, I'm 100% for AEW. Definitely like it and wanted to stick around, wanted to be around. But man, the way it's going, you know, hey, it's going to sink. It's going to sink. It can't continue to go on like that. And I don't care how much money Tony Khan has. I don't care how much money Tony Khan has. Same thing, man, when I used to work for Winn-Dixie. Oh, this thing can never go down, Harry. This thing can never go down. Winn-Dixie been around since I was a kid. I'm like, no, man, this thing going down. You cannot continue to lose money like that in a division. I don't care if you got 1,300 stores and you making $12 billion a year. That's what they was telling you, but that was net. That was net. They didn't tell us how much they was grossing. So they had the employees' food. Didn't have me food because I saw how much quarterly they was losing in 188 stores that they had in the Greenville market. And they lost $400,000 every quarter. You know, did that for 2 years. I'm like, I'm getting out of here. I'm taking my money out of stock or whatever. I'm getting out of here. It was flat out crazy, man. It was flat out crazy. But I'm just saying, Tony Khan, you can spend money. But after a while, you know, hey, that money train is going to fail you. That money train is going to slow down. You know, Daddy's gonna get tired of running supplying the gravy and not getting no return. Kind of like back in the day, you know, Ted Turner, you know, losing all that money. And then he sold it to Time Warner. Time Warner said, this is a losing product. Time to get rid of it. WCW, boom. And Eric Bischoff, it goes to show what they thought about Eric Bischoff, because they wouldn't sell the company to him. He had $62 million. He had a firm with him that offered $62 million. And Vince McMahon only offered him $3 million. They would have sold it to him instead of selling it to Eric Bischoff. And a lot of people say, oh, hey, the executives, they hated wrestling. You know, who knows? We're taking Bischoff's word for it. That these guys hated wrestling. A lot of those executives have been working for Time Warner for years, and knew how essential wrestling was to the program. It was the #1 show for 20, 30 years on TBS, on the Superstation. So what is that telling you? They didn't want Eric Bischoff. They hated it when Eric Bischoff came and what Eric Bischoff did to it. That's what they hated. But no, Bischoff wanted blame on it, put the blame on them and say, hey, they hated wrestling. Hey, man, you had Ted Turner in your corner who loves wrestling and loved wrestling being on his Superstation. But you ruined that. So, man, hey, that's all I really have to say, guys. And let me look one more time. I'm going to be off camera, but let me check one more time, make sure I'm getting all the comments, guys. Wow, man. Wow. This is flat crazy. But yeah, for some reason, my StreamYard was not picking up. A lot of these comments and things, guys. So I'm sorry about that. AJ Skills, Harry doesn't forget Friday night SmackDown, 8 p.m. Harry, 8 p.m. It's not Friday night tonight. You're talking about tomorrow night, though, right? It better not be Friday night. It's Thursday, as far as I know. AJ Scales, but yeah, definitely be on there tomorrow for Friday night SmackDown. Chris won't be on because Chris is going to be at work. He'll be at work at 9:30, man. So, and it's going to take him about an hour to get back to Lawrence. So this dude won't be on for SmackDown or Rampage, but I definitely will be on there tomorrow for Friday night SmackDown. Facebook user guys and gals need to pay their dues. Athleticism and crap, unless you have heart and tenacity, certain ones are built to last. No doubt about it. I don't know who the Facebook user is. I'll find out that later, and I'll respond to you. AJ Scales, Harry, it's all about championship wrestling. No doubt about that. Must value each other's opinion. Agree to disagree. Of course. Exactly. No doubt. All right. Dig Doug, 1979. People get all butt hurt if you disagree with their feelings. No doubt about that, Doug. And that's all through society today. It's not just wrestling. It's not just wrestling. I know I'm pretty much here, harping on wrestling. It's not just wrestling. It's all through, all through the United States and all kind of different industries, all different kind of businesses, personal feelings as far as in families and everything, in church, everything. People get offended. And it's sad. It's sad. It really is. But, hey, speaking of church, man, I hate to say it, but that's one of the signs of the last days. People will get offended. Hey, and that's what people are. People just getting offended over anything, man, over any little thing. But you would think in the wrestling business, something that's supposed to bring us all joy, something that we supposed to love, man, a sporting event. Wrestling, like I say, when I was growing up, it was considered a sport, a wrestling event, man, something that supposed to take you away from the politics of the world, things that's really gonna, your hard work week or something like that. Wrestling is one of those things that's supposed to take you away from that. And then we can't get here and say, I can't get out here and say, man, I can't stand that Orange Cassidy dude. Oh man, you just a hater, man. You can't stand Orange Cassidy. Or you might just back away from me and decide not to. I'm not gonna talk to him no more. He don't like Orange Cassidy. Oh man, he don't like Jon Moxley. He don't like Jon Moxley. What he got against Jon Moxley? He's just a hater. Hey, Matt Riddle. I love Matt Riddle, but there's a lot of people that don't like him. And Chris can't stand him, hates him worse than anybody besides Disco Inferno. But you think I hate Chris because he don't like Matt Riddle? Because he don't like Riddle? I still love I love the dude to death. I don't care if he don't like Riddle. That doesn't bother me at all. It's good because it brings up conversation. I'm going to defend the guy and talk about the talent that he does have. And Chris is going to dog him out. Because and Chris's argument is he don't like the way he acts, because the surfer dude act and everything. He don't like that. So, Chris loved Gunther when he first started. He introduced me to Gunther. I didn't think the guy was all that. I'm like, I love the guy now, but he did not. I was impressed with him, how tough he was and everything, but I wasn't a big fan of his. Chris used to like John Morrison, Johnny. He's called Johnny TV now over there in AEW, but Johnny Drip. Chris liked him. I'm like, man, why you like this stupid idiot? But but there's a lot of people that I have friends, man, that love a lot of different wrestlers that I could not stand. But there's no way in the world I'm gonna sit back and say I'm not gonna call this guy for a couple of weeks because hey, he likes this wrestler. And that's the stupidest thing I ever heard in my life. But yeah, we definitely got to agree to disagree. But I'm going to go back and I'm going to check out that Facebook user and see who said that. Let's see. Facebook user said Hulk Hogan's son, Nick, DJing at Hulk Hogan's club in Florida these days. Okay, that's a good little thing. DJing, if you're good at it, man, you can make a lot of money DJing. And it's better than getting hurt in the rain. Facebook user Matt Riddle is awesome, but he's a horn dog. No doubt about that. Ruining his career. He's tripping, sleeping with a lot of people. Yes, he is. But yeah, let me go over and check out who this is on Facebook. Could be still Melanie McKeith, but I just want to make sure. Or could be Wesley Flasky or somebody like that. I don't have a lot of people coming on Facebook. Chris and I, all right. So I'm back. I see that's basically Melanie McKeith, the wrestling den mother. But yeah, what I was saying is, Chris and I, we don't have a lot of Facebook people that come through. We do get 100 and some views, and sometimes we get a good bit of views over there on Facebook. But Facebook is not our number one priority no more, because we usually do AEW, WWE, and most of those people on Facebook, they like the local wrestling scene. But outside of Eastern Knowledge, Georgia, and a couple other things that we do on Facebook, we don't. We're not these people's favorite podcasters. They like to go to the people that's covering the local scene, and they, anyway, a lot of them don't like me as much as, because hey, they just don't. They just don't, because hey, I'm opinionated and I'm a very confident person. I'm different. I'm different. That's just it, straight up. And Chris and I, we do a lot better on YouTube. I mean, I'm not trying. Basically, I am. I put down all these other these people, these podcasters over in the upstate here. I'm sorry, except for it's a couple of them that help, and you know who you are. You're great. You're great. But Chris and I, man, we over 500 Facebook. We got over 500 Facebook users. That's the hardest platform to get on. We 140,000 views we've had in the 2 years we've been on there. 24,000 views this last month. So I'm definitely gonna stay on YouTube and do YouTube. That is the hardest platform that you can get on, and we've only been on that 2 years. I wish we was on there longer. I wish we would started off there and just took the Facebook route. I mean, not Facebook, the YouTube route. But I'm not dismissing anybody on Facebook. And Chris and I, we're about to get back out there. We're about to do a lot of things out here on the independent scene. But hey, if you don't, some of these. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Somebody was trying to call my phone. I ain't put it on silent or anything like that. But yeah, like I say, Chris and I, man, we about to get out here and do a lot more things on the independent scene. So we basically gonna start rocking on that scene a good bit. I don't know how much with Chris. Chris got some things going on. Hopefully he'll get freed up. But I know one thing, I will be back here on the independent scene doing a lot of things since my man Danny Paris had passed away. HBT is going to get back involved with everything that's going on out here on the independent scene. And I just had one of my best friend from high school, just tried to give me a call. I'm going to give him a call. He's been trying to call for the last couple of weeks. I definitely got to give him a call. And the rain has subsided, so I'm definitely going to get out here and I'm going to finish doing this cutting, and then I'm going to do some weed eating. But I appreciate everybody coming on, man, this afternoon, and I will be back on this evening to talk some more crap, to talk some more junk, to get out here and rumble, man. Rumble. I got a lot of things I want to talk about. All right, JL says all love and respect, but some people disagree for the want to be different. That's true. That's true, JL. That's true. Man, and you know, I understand wrestling fans, you know, a lot of wrestling fans out here, they got to the point they have taken wrestling and they've taken it to heart and they want to be part of something. A lot of these wrestling fans out here feel they're not part of something. And when you get to the point where you feel like you're part of something, you feel like somebody's coming in and trying to take something from you. And man, and they don't want you to take anything from them, even their favorite wrestler. It's, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. But, you know, I respect everybody. You know, hey, everybody out here, if you like, if we love you to your man, you like Blackpool Combat Club, hey, that's your thing, man. That's your thing. That's your thing. If you don't like Bron Breakker, just like, you know, hey, JL, Bron Breakker is one of my favorite wrestlers in the world. Definitely in the top 3 right now. You don't like Bron Breakker, hey, I'm not going to hate on you. There's a lot of people out here that don't hate him. I mean, that don't like him. But I'm not going to hate on those people because they don't like him, straight up. So, man, you don't like NXT. I love NXT. And NXT has a small pocket of fans, too. If you don't like NXT, you know, right now, I say if you don't like it, you're not watching it. But if you don't like NXT and you dogging NXT, hey, I'm not going to hate on you. But there, you know, there are fans out there, especially AEW fans, who try to laugh at the product and everything. But I'm not going to hate on you. Hey, man, you do you. You do you. But, guys, I am out of here. I will see you guys later, man. Stay straight up. Peace.